All right, friends, it's T-Man. I'm going to do another video. Man, I can't believe it. This guy has so many bullshit videos. It's crazy. Man, I have to do another video. I just have to do another video on this Enrique guy, man. This fucking lifting slave. You know, the guy that fell on his face, lifting the weight in his backyard or whatever the fuck he was doing back in the day. So, it's T-Man, so I'm going to do a reaction video to Enrique, fuck, I forget his name. And fuck. Enkiri. Oh, sorry. It's Enkiri Elite Fitness. I always say Enrique. I don't know. This fucking guy is the weirdest fucking name. Who gives a shit? Enkiri Elite Fitness. Whatever. I don't give a shit, man. I hate these channels anyways. Why you're plateauing in the gym and how to break through it. Oh, God. He's going to tell us how to break through the plateau, eh? You're not plateauing. Nothing plateaus, bro. Get it? I just don't know what you're doing.
How can you extract the maximum amount of gains from each individual exercise in your training program? And how can you avoid creating unnecessary fatigue with those same exercises?
Okay, why is he doing, if you want to avoid plateaus and you want to damage muscle fibers, because that's how muscles grow, they damage and then they grow. So, myofibular growth. I'm not talking about sarcoplasmic artificial muscle growth. We're talking about myofibular growth now. So he started from the bottom there and he did a concentric movement all the way to the top. Did you see that? Did you see that? Let's play that one more time. One more time. Ready?
How can you extract the maximum amount of gains from each individual exercise?
I'll tell you what he's doing wrong here and why he'll always be plateaued his entire life. Because he's stupid.
In your training program. And how...
Okay, this is endurance. He's starting to lift the weight from... He's starting from this position and he's going in the opposite direction. He's going against gravity. He's going against gravity. He's not going with gravity. He's going against gravity with a very heavy weight. I don't know how heavy this is. Let's say it's kind of heavy. For him, maybe, whatever. I don't know. For everybody, it's different, okay?
How can you avoid creating unnecessary fatigue?
And look how you're fatiguing. And look how slow he's going to get to the top. It's very slow. Do you think that doing this is damaging his muscle fibers? Do you think from where he started and going in the opposite direction is damaging his muscle fibers? What does science say? What damages muscle fibers? Oh, the eccentric. How does eccentric damage muscle fibers? Why is eccentric associated with damaged muscle fibers and not concentric? Why is that? Why is that? Because the weight, you could take more weight on that muscle fiber. It could take more and it will tear it. Get it? It's stretching it. If it's pulling and stretching it, that's causing damage to it. Yeah, that's right. And here's the thing about that. You can actually load more weight on the eccentric than you could on the concentric. See that? So this movement that he's doing here right now, he can literally put 5 plates on there and go all the way down. See what I mean? Now, if he has some help, if he had one of those bars where it hangs on your back, your shoulders, and you have 2 poles here, you can put both of your arms on it. So if you can't lift it with your leg going in the opposite direction, concentric, you can use your arms to pull yourself up just a little bit. You don't need to go fully to the top. We're not endurance athletes. We're eccentric athletes, bodybuilders. We want to damage the muscle fibers, the deeper, weaker muscle fibers, so we don't plateau, so we can load more weight on the eccentric, so we can damage it. Repetitive damaging cycles, fast, rapid firing. Get it? That's it.
With those same exercises, as well as avoid causing them to plateau prematurely.
Causing them to plateau prematurely? They plateau because there's something called repeated bout effect phenomena, and they're resilient from further assaults. So if they're resilient from further assaults, what do you need to do to damage them? You need to load more on the eccentric. You need to put as much stress that you can handle on the eccentric and rep them out. Sets with 10 reps. Sets with 10 reps. Bro, get it? Mechanical tension. It's not just the mechanical tension is going to damage it. What's going to damage it is more weight that the more weight you add onto it and the more reps you do and sets, the more it's going to get damaged. Yeah. And it can't get damaged with a repeated bout. So you have to do all the muscle groups in one shot, unfortunately. You have to do all of them on the day. And then they go together. They will all together repair and remodel the rest of the week and hypertrophy, providing protein synthesis exceeds that breakdown. You're in a positive nitrogen balance. Get it? Plus, if you're in a positive nitrogen balance, you'll be anabolic. So will have converted the catabolic hormone to an androgen, so it doesn't have to compete with the myocytic androgen receptor, giving you more force production. Yes, yes, get it? So when you come back the following week, you're going to be a lot bigger and stronger every week, and you'll be able to exceed those loads, even more load. You could take more on the eccentric loading. Get it? Yeah, man. It's a practice, it's a technique to practice how to load all these different exercises for specific muscle groups to get them to damage. See what I mean? It's very specific. Your bench press, it's going to be very specific. You're gonna have to need for bench press. You're gonna need a spotter. You're gonna need a spotter for bench press. Now dumbbells, it's not so bad because you're just bringing up partially, so you could go really heavy partial, but mostly you want it to drag your chest down, drag down a little bit up, drag a little bit up, drag again. You don't have to do full concentric work when you're doing eccentric in bodybuilding. We are not endurance athletes. We are not running up mountains. We are running down mountains. Get it? There's no endurance there involved in running down a mountain. You're going with gravity. It's going to cause damage in your legs.
Today, we'll answer all these questions by discussing methods that have been thoroughly battle tested over the last 2 decades, both in my own training as well as in the training of countless clients of mine. Please remember to like the video and subscribe to my channel. And if you
This is not so bad. I mean, he's doing some concentric, I would say some eccentric work here. He's putting a stretch on the leg. So it's not like all of his exercises are totally devoid of eccentric, but they'll adapt and they won't damage anymore. That's the problem. Why won't they damage? Because you need to load more on the eccentric, because it's the eccentric that damages muscle fibers, not the concentric.
enjoy content like this, then please consider supporting my work by picking up a training program from my website. It's www.uncarryelitefitness.com. I have over 60 5-star reviews on Google. You can check them out for yourself. And if you do, your gains will thank you. I hope you enjoy the rest of the video.
I don't think you're going to get any gains watching him, man, because he doesn't have any gains. And if he doesn't have any, you're not going to get any either.
Basically, I want to talk about getting the most value that you can possibly get out of each and every movement in your training program before the diminishing returns kick in and it becomes prudent to swap that exercise out for a period of time.
That's not called diminishing returns and you have to swap it out. Man, that's called myonuclear domain size limit. It's not going to donate any more nuclei once it reaches a ceiling limit during that hypertrophic process. For example, like it says in NCBI, it says untrained first training satellite cell fusion hypertrophy. Okay, it hypertrophied. And then you see the nuclei there. Okay. Why isn't it still donating any more nuclei? Why doesn't it just keep donating nuclei? I'll tell you why. When you come back and you lift weights, why aren't you getting more nuclei? Because you got damaged the first time when you came in. That's why it says in science, it says in NCBI, it says a unique feature of eccentric exercise is that what? Untrained people get what? They get stiff and sore the next day due to what? Muscle damage. Get it? Yeah. Okay. So now that you're adapted and you come back to the gym, right? And your muscles are more resilient now from further assaults. They're not so easy to get damaged. Now that you're repaired and remodeled, even if you're repaired and remodeled and you come back to the gym and then you start lifting and then you notice, well, I'm not getting sore anymore. I'm not damaged. I feel really good. I just feel exhausted, kind of. Okay. So that's all you're feeling because you're adapted now. Get it? So you think because you're lifting, you think that your muscles are just going to build? What's gonna make them build exactly? Oh, I know. You're going to eat protein and they're just going to magically build from eating protein. No, they reached the nuclear domain size limit beyond where the progenitor can donate any more extra nuclei to that domain to support further muscle growth. Oh, I know. You think that these nuclei, now that you have them, you think they're post-mitotic? You think they can split and divide because you're waving your arms up in the air or bench pressing up in the air? No, dude, they are post-mitotic. They don't split and divide and increase in number. Just because you're adapted in lifting, get it, bro? You understand me? They only split and divide when they're damaged. You understand me? And they're not getting damaged anymore because there's a lot of things that are preventing it. Repeated bout effect phenomena, and they're resilient from further assaults because they repaired and remodeled a lot stronger. So now you have to lift heavier, but your problem is you think you have to lift heavier on the concentric when in fact all the load has to be on the eccentric. It's not dependent on the concentric exercise to get damaged. It's the eccentric. So you don't have to go all the way up to the top to do full concentric movement. You just have to bring it up, partially up, because you won't be able to bring it up to the top because you're going to be lifting a lot heavy. Because remember, eccentric can take more load because you're going with gravity. You're not going against gravity, you're going with gravity. Gravity is now pulling you plus the weight. So you could move heavier weight. The eccentric part can take more weight than you could on the concentric. See what I mean? Let's say, for example, let me put it this way, man. Let's say that all you could do, let's say you could do a full curl with, I don't know, 50-pound dumbbells, full concentric curl. But guess what? You could do 100-pound dumbbell curls, but you can't do it fully concentrically, but you can do it eccentrically. Get it? In other words, you can bring it up partially, but you can also bring it down. So you can keep doing that partial reps. See what I mean? So that means that the eccentric can take more load and get damaged. So then it'll come back bigger and stronger. And you can actually curl them when you come back the next time. Anyway, you probably don't understand that. I'm not sure, man. Maybe you do, maybe fucking you don't. Who the fuck knows?
Time. A skilled lifter or a smart lifter is going to be able to auto-regulate their weight.
That's me. I'm a skilled lifter. I know everything about lifting that there is to know. There isn't anything I don't know.
Into a series of positive adaptations spread out over the course of several weeks or
Yes, positive adaptations, but he's not getting any more adaptations. The only thing he's adapting to is what? The weights. He's adapting to lifting weights, the nervous system. His body's not adapting to building any more muscle, getting bigger and stronger. You understand me? He's not getting bigger and stronger. He's getting better at lifting these weights, adapting at lifting them. Yeah.
possibly even several months, and extract maximum gains from a movement, extract maximum value repeatedly over time.
Why does he have to say that? Why can't he show you? Why can't he show you these gains? You want to know why he has to keep saying them? Because body does the talking and his body says nothing. It says a zero.
Before that staleness begins to kick in. Now contrast that with somebody who's training in a less intelligent fashion, or somebody who simply can't.
That's him in a less intelligent fashion. Why is he resting? Why is he doing full concentric here? Why is he resting at the top? What's going on here?
Resist the urge to always kind of push things to the absolute limits. Those types of people, while they're very gung-ho and willing to train hard, may actually burn an exercise out in literally just a handful of training sessions. Basically, what I'm talking about here
Again, here's another goofy exercise. He's throwing the weight up in the air.
is similar to the concept of quote unquote.
See that? He's throwing the weight up in the air. What is this doing exactly? It's endurance, and he's getting better at throwing the weight. He's practicing at getting good at throwing a weight up in the air, and is getting endurance here. It's endurance exercise.
Slicing the bologna thin, making a little bit go a long way.
Do you think throwing that weight up against gravity is going to damage muscle fibers? What damages muscle fibers? Eccentric. Okay, what exercise is this? Oh, it's concentric. Throwing it up in the air concentrically. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is going to damage muscle fibers, Enrique, or whatever the fuck your name is, and Kiri.
So let's say that I introduce a new movement into my program. Doesn't matter what it is, it could be any type of squat or a bench press.
This is useless, man. He's just wasting his time, man. Wasting his time.
A deadlift, an OHP, etc., etc. Just a big.
This is not bodybuilding. This is not going to build your body bigger and stronger. This is not going to build muscle. This is not going to do fuck all but make you good at throwing this weight up in the air like a monkey.
Big primary exercise, something that you would use in the first or the second slot of a training session, something you would emphasize and prioritize.
I would never waste my time doing this, throwing this weight up and down uselessly, fucking wasting my time in a gym. Give me a break, man.
So I'll start off with that new big primary exercise, and in the first week, I'll work up to something challenging for 5 reps. Just something challenging, right? An RPE 8 for a top set, maybe an RPE 8.5, but probably.
Really, to tell you the truth, this exercise is useless. This is just a waste of time. You could probably hurt your spine here anyways doing this. This is stupid.
Not a 9, and definitely not a 10. Then in the
the way he's doing this, it's concentric. It's concentric. There's no eccentric work here. He's not doing any eccentric work here, man. Nothing.
second week, I will do the same thing again. But
no wonder why he's plateaued. He's plateaued.
This time I will push the envelope a little bit further. This time maybe I will try to find that RPE 9 or RPE 9.5 effort potentially. And then finally, in the third week, that is when I will just go absolutely balls to the wall and I will work my way up to a true 5RM, an RPE 10 effort, a set of 5 reps where I absolutely could not have done another rep without failing it. After that, I will probably take a deload.
Yeah. Because he got exhausted. He exhausted himself. It's endurance lifting. He's exhausted. Until I exhaust myself, I can't do another rep because he's exhausted. This isn't based on getting weaker from getting muscle damage. And muscle damage, it's not that you can't rep out any more reps. It's because you got damaged. You understand me? So there's weakness there, like it says in the DOM section. You can read that NCBI.
In the fourth week,
it explains what this ultrastructural muscle damage does. It gives you all the symptoms there. It comes with all these things, man. You understand me?
And then I will repeat the same process again, but this time with 4s instead of with 5s. So that would now give me another 3 weeks of productive training following that initial wave. Again, in the 4th week, I would deload just to kind of help reset the fatigue barometer a little bit. And then starting a new wave after that, I would repeat the process again, but this time with 3s instead of 4s. So now...
This is fucking useless, man. I don't want to listen to this guy. It's bullshit.
Concept even further into 2s, doubles, right? And then potentially even into...
Okay, this is not so bad, but you actually have to let it drag, not touch the floor. He's resting the weight on the floor. It's the bottom part will be the eccentric where the weight is coming down. It's dragging the muscles, your back muscles. It's dragging it down. You want a heavy stretch on it. Heavy is as heavy as you can handle going down. Yes, and then he's just throwing them up.
Singles.
Okay, he doesn't need to come all the way up to the top. This is far enough. Because now you can stretch again coming down. You relieve the stretch, now you stretch again.
Now, you'll get the most productive and sustainable
So this is not so bad. You know what I mean? But the problem is he's touching the floor, I think, here. He's touching the floor.
training with your threes and your fours and your fives when you're utilizing this concept. But two,
Okay, he's not touching the floor. This is great. He's not going all the way up, which is perfect. This is what I would call a concentric exercise. Finally, this is good. It's dragging the muscles in his back and it's pulling his arms down, and he's not going fully up to the top to do concentric work. So he's doing a full eccentric work. This is full eccentric. This is good.
twos and ones, singles and doubles still have their place. And if you take this concept all the way through from start to finish, that is 5 months of
This isn't bad going up and down, but you can handle more going down. You understand me? You can handle more going down. It's like this. A lot of the times when I get on the lat pull down, what I do on the lat pull down, I just put astronomically high weight on there, and then when I pull it, I literally get my whole body weight to pull the weight down with my arms. So I'm kind of in a up position, and then I just pull it down with my body weight and my arms, so it bounces down. But when I let it go back up, that's going to be the eccentric part. The going up is going to cause the tearing in the back and the lat area. It's the going down part, bringing the weight down to your lats doesn't do anything. It's really the pulling on the lat that causes it to pull. How do you think you pull your scapula out when you pull yourself up on this pull bar, on this pull up over here? When he pulled himself up, how do you think you pull your scapula out? You think it pulls it out on the up force, on the concentric? Hell fucking no. It fucking pulls apart on the eccentric. Duh. Even your lats, that's how they keep stretching to get bigger. They stretched to get damaged so they can repair and remodel and get bigger and stronger. Hello. So this weight is light for him. Why doesn't he put more weight on it? Instead of going all the way to the top, go partially. Go partially, bounce it off his shoulders, go partially up, and then bring it down slowly, and bring it up again, and then slowly bring it down. Yeah.
milking the absolute shit out of a single exercise from fives all the way down to ones, and each and every single time I will have gotten myself a positive training stimulus from my exposure to the movement.
Will he get a positive? Okay, if he says so.
Each of those stimuli nudging me forward slowly and surely. And in reality, you don't even have to take it nearly this far to be able to buy far more value.
Okay, this exercise is very specific. Man, you need to really bend your back so it can stretch. You need to bend it in a curved manner so it can stretch on the way down, and then you bring it up slowly. You don't want to get injured. That's the whole point. And so it has to be built up to the point where it's strong enough to handle, I don't know, these 3 or 4 plates, whatever the fuck he's doing here. See what I mean? But he's putting all the stress on his lower back and hips to lift this weight. He's basically, it's turned into a concentric movement. It's not eccentric anymore.
You from each individual movement in your training program than most people are typically able to get. For example, you could just do a wave with fives and a wave with threes and then switch to a new movement and do the same thing. And in this case, since you're only spending 8 weeks on each individual exercise, you can probably go back to them relatively.
Look, you can see this guy, Prophet Fear. He does this, right? Hold on a second. Here we go, Prophet Fear. He does these exercises. I've seen his channel before. I think it's this one right here. Look how he bends his. Watch this. All right. Wow, look at the curvature. Look at the curvature in his back because he's into stretching. The only problem is he's adapted to his exercises. He's adapted, and so he's not getting any more adaptations. And he doesn't understand that more weight can be pulled on the eccentric than the concentric. He doesn't understand these things because he doesn't know anything about lifting. But he's pretty good at learning how to cause a stretch to the muscle fiber. So this is what I would call, this is the proper way of doing it. Watch. See how he's bending his back in a curvature so it can stretch? See that he wants it to stretch the muscles in the back. He thinks now that he's adapted, it's adapted. This stretching is not doing anything anymore. It's just exhausting him now at this point. But it's a good movement. It's just an example I'm trying to show you. See his back? See how curved it is? See how the weight is, he's dragging the weight down? Look at that. Now watch when he brings it up. See that? Then he straightens up at the very top. Here, look when he comes down. Look at that. Yeah? Now that's the way you really do it. All right, let's go back to Enrique. Enrique, friend here.
Okay, that should have got your attention.
Right before another good round of gains. If you had just 3 or 4 different movements in a rotation like this, you would keep making gains pretty much.
This is it, guys. This is what I try to explain to you. You need a bar like this in a gym. You can put a bar like this at the top and you can hold it. So now that you're at the bottom here, you really want to pull. You want to use it to pull. So you want to put like 5 or 6 plates on here and go to the bottom. Go all the way to the bottom slowly, right? Or you could start at the bottom. Put like like he has here. He's got the suspension bars and keep it like this. Go underneath the bar now, right? With your legs, so you don't damage yourself. And start from the bottom and pull yourself up a bit, and then you allow the weight to go to the bottom. Allow the weight. You do the weight to the bottom, but you pull yourself up. Get it? See what I mean? So you could damage the muscle fibers. So this is pretty good.
Forever. Another option would be to mix different rep targets.
But this is wrong. Going to the top is wrong. This is too light for him now. This is too light. So this is not going to damage muscle fibers. It's too light. It's not going to work, man. I'm telling you it's not going to work.
Targets into the same wave while keeping a
But the premise is good. Him holding onto the bar there and using this thing. This is top tier, bro. This is smart. Very smart here. Very smart.
consistent RPE cap from week to week instead of keeping the reps the same and raising the RPE cap each week. So kind of inverting it. So for example, hitting 5s in week 1, 4s in week 2, and 3s in week 3, and then raising the RPE cap when you move into the next wave. Now, on the flip side of all this, imagine if I just switched to a new movement in my program, went out in week 1, and worked my way up to a ball-busting set of 5 reps, an RPE 10 right from the onset.
He's just wasting his time, man. It's too light. He's adapted. There's no damage.
Not only would the overall
And he's going all the way to the top. It's just exhausting.
ceiling for that RPE 10 effort be much
Waste of time. Next.
one single impetus for progression before
Okay, he's got a weight here, and I don't know what he's doing here. He's doing his abs. This is weird.
forcing yourself into a corner where you have to dial up the knob and crank up the intensity level to new heights in order to find the space to create another positive stimulus. You're shoveling out a
Okay, he's going in the up direction. It's again, if you want to get the abs to stick out, you want to do more of the eccentric, not concentric. But okay, whatever.
massive hole for yourself when you only needed to spoon up a little bit of dirt out of the ground. You blew your load way too soon, and now you're stuck in an embarrassing
Okay, this is not so bad. It's somewhat eccentric. He still has to go a little bit further down, but okay, whatever.
Refractory period, waiting for things to charge back
Look at him. He's doing mostly concentric now. He's just stopped there. He starts to do concentric.
up again. Not only did you get less positive adaptations out of the movement, but you also
See, he's getting tired of going all the way up. He's getting tired. He's not getting damaged and getting weaker from the damage. He's getting tired because he's exhausted. He's an endurance athlete, bro.
caused more fatigue in the process of doing.
See what he says? He even admits causing more fatigue. And eccentric doesn't cause you fatigue because you're going with gravity. When you go against gravity, that's endurance. So you feel what? Fatigue. So your response would be, I'm getting fatigued. Get it? What would you say if your muscles were getting damaged, right? And you're getting weaker and you can feel them tearing, literally. Like you can feel it tearing and everything. In the eccentric form, doing heavy weight, would you be saying, I'm getting fatigued? No, absolutely not. Your experience and your senses and your skill, your survival skills will tell you, holy fuck, I'm getting damaged. I'm getting weaker. That's what you'd be saying. But he's saying I'm getting fatigued. Why? Because he's doing concentric, bro. He's doing concentric work, which is associated with endurance lifting. So of course his senses are gonna tell you the truth. He's not gonna lie. I'm getting fatigued. So you're not getting damaged, eh, dude? You're getting fatigued. Okay.
So that is not a good trade-off. Contrast that with the method I described a minute ago. And in that former scenario, you would get 3 or 4 of those same positive adaptive stimuli before having to even dial things up at all. Each one of those adaptations building off of the one that came before it, each one just as valuable as the one that would eventually come after it. Brick by brick, you build the house. Slice the bologna thin, and you can dine on meat for weeks and months. But if you eat the whole damn block,
Oh man, this guy's wasting his time again. Look what he's doing here. This is funny.
in a day, then you're just gonna go hungry tomorrow. Now, obviously, what I've just described here is more of
Again, he doesn't have to bring it up to the top, but I mean, he is getting some eccentric work. But I know he's adapted to all these exercises because he's a lifting slave. He's a gym lifting slave, bro. He's adapted to all these exercises. He's an endurance lifter, wasting his time.
a strength protocol as opposed to a hypertrophy one, maybe a power building protocol even. But you could run this exact same type of concept for a more hypertrophy oriented training style as well.
No, it's not going to get you any hypertrophy. It can get you sarcoplasmic though. If you start eating more potatoes, that'll help.
In that case, you just start with a higher rep target. So maybe you could start with 50.
See how small he is? He's small. He has no muscles, bro. He never built anything. All the 20 years of this YouTube channel, he's built nothing on it. Wasting his time. He's an endurance athlete. Looks like an endurance runner to me. He looks like a marathon runner.
Teens in week
I
1.
would never know that he lifted weights. I would think he was an endurance athlete running in the street.
Instead of 5s, and then work your way down to 10s
Again, look at these weights. Look what he's doing. He's flying them in the air.
instead of a 1.
He's using his entire arm to fly them in the air instead of you. Remember, the shoulder is segregated, it's separate. You want the shoulder to lift itself up. But it can only lift so far up. It could go higher up, but then your elbows would start flaring. They'd start sticking up. You want them to only go so much up, and then you want them to go down to drag that weight down. A lot of people grab a bar, they grab it in the middle, and they always pull the weight up to their chin. They pull it up to the chin, to the chin, to the chin, when they don't realize that. You want it so that there's so much weight on there, so it's dragging your shoulders down. It's the downforce that causes the damage to the shoulders. Going up in the concentric form to your chin just exhausts you, get it? And well, if you're eating carbohydrates, it'll pump them up. For every gram of glycogen, 3 grams of water drop between skin and muscle into the muscle.
over the course of a few months. Or maybe you could start with 12s and work your way down to 8s. Whatever. That kind of thing is literally the exact type of thing that I personally do very often with my secondary and my tertiary movements in my training program. They're a little bit higher rep, right? I'm never not going to train for strength, so I always go a little bit heavier on my primary work. But a majority
See, he's never not going to train for strength. He's always going heavier on his primary work, yes. Does he look strong to you? Does he look strong to you?
of my other work often falls into these sorts of hypertrophy biased higher rep parameters. Really though, if you only take one thing.
Look at that. He's just throwing those weights up to the top, down, up and down, up and down. He just it's like, I just will take these weights and I'll just drop them up and down. And really, to get damaged, they need more force going down. They need more force going down. Think about it. If you're running down a mountain, your body weight, that force going down, gravity pulling you and your body weight and the angle of inclination, you going down the side of a mountain, is going to cause damage to your legs, going to cause damage to the muscle fibers in your legs because they're constantly bending with weight and gravity pulling you down. It's pulling you fast. You're moving fast. Listen to the word. When you're going on the downforce, it's moving you very quickly, fast. Get it? Very, very, very fast. Now, when you run up a hill, are you moving very, very, very fast? Does it fatigue you? Do you get tired? Are you putting tension on your muscles? Or is there stress on your legs? Do you think they're going to grow bigger from running up a hill? Let me ask you this question. What do you think is going to grow your leg muscles? Running down a hill or running up a hill? What do you think running up a hill is associated with? And what do you think running down a hill is associated with? What do you think it is?
Away from this entire video, the point that I'm trying to make here is that there is immense value to delaying.
Okay, this guy can run on a flat surface, flat and fast. Okay, he can run around in this field.
Gratification when it comes to training. Essentially,
he probably weighs like, I don't know, 100 pounds, 130 pounds, and he's small and whatever.
That's what this whole concept is. A lot of people have a hard time resisting.
Does he look like he's a bodybuilder? Does he look big to you, big and strong? Yeah, he doesn't even look like he lifts weights.
Going all out all the time.
Look at him. He doesn't even look like he lifts weights, bro. Get it? Look at him. In the tank top. I would never know that he lifts weights. Come on.
In fact, I would say that a big part of my job as a coach is just stopping people from doing that. Stopping them from.
Jesus, he's a coach, man. He's a coach. This, whatever it is he's doing here, he's just wasting his time too as well.
From essentially being their own worst enemy, because the fact of the matter is, with a properly designed training program,
you are your worst enemy because you don't know what you're doing. Haha.
It simply makes way more sense and it creates far better long-term progress to leave something in the tank.
All right, I would say that was considered a concentric exercise movement. He jumped from the rooftop there to the bottom. He landed. See what I mean? He landed. He didn't jump up onto the roof. He jumped down. That is an eccentric movement. Yes, that could cause some damage to the muscle fibers.
Most of the time, by culminating.
This is concentric. He is lifting very heavy. So there may be some stretch here because it's going down. Of course, he has to use, it has to be diligent bringing it down. So definitely this could cause some damage to the shoulder muscle. It's quite heavy here.
The intensity gradually, not only does the absolute.
I would say this is a good eccentric movement. Yes, I would say this is a good eccentric movement to cause damage to the shoulder muscle.
Ceiling become much higher, but you get multiple equally potent adaptive stimuli from the exact same movement.
That is not a damaging exercise, and this isn't even concentric. He's throwing the weight in the air. It's not strict form.
before being forced to discard it due to staleness. Think about it. If you make everything stale so quickly, too quickly, eventually you will simply run out of shit that is potent and effective for you, and you'll just be stuck in a plateau. So it just makes way more sense. Anyway, I hope you guys found this one informative. Let me know if you have any questions about anything that I've talked about here. Please remember to smash the like.
It's not because it's stale and everything that's causing the plateau. What's causing the plateau is that you've adapted to all these things that you're doing. Get it? And you stayed there. You stayed there. You didn't change. You didn't do anything different. You're thinking you're gonna get a different outcome doing the exact same exercises and the exact same movements and the exact same weight. That's this Enrique's problem, and that's why he's a failure. And all of you will be failures like him. See you in the next one. Tell us what you think about that. Like, subscribe, support the channel. See you in the next video, bro.
Button before you go. Leave me your friendly comment down below. Check out on Kier Elite Fitness.
Check out Incurely, man. Incurely. Forget it.